Social stratification is defined as the hierarchical ranking of people who have different access to valued resources of a society. There are two types of stratification systems, open and closed. Open systems allow movement up or down and are based on individual achievement, while closed systems limit movement up or down due to ascribed statuses. It is important to know that no society is entirely open or entirely closed. Today, the United States is considered to have an open stratification system. At the same time, resources available at birth are extremely important in determining one's opportunities in life. Social stratification is broken down into three dimensions: wealth, prestige, and power. Wealth is cumulative and is passed down from each generation to the next. Prestige is the respect, recognition, and regard attached to social positions. Power is the ability of an individual to achieve goals and maintain influence despite opposition. A person's ranking is usually equal in each of these dimensions. Natasha Samtani is 18 years old and attends Elon University. Her father, Sam Samtani, is the chief of neuroradiology at Shady Grove Adventist Hospital. Her mother, Monica Samtani, works for WUSA Television Network in Washington, D.C. As a result of her parents' high-paying and affluent professions, Natasha lives a secure and comfortable life. Her parents both hold successful positions, therefore her family is economically stable. Their professions are both well-respected and important in today's world and hold a fairly high amount of power. Natasha's parents have secure social status that Natasha was born into and inherits. Emily Sanchez Garcia does not live the same type of life as Natasha, largely due to her family's social standings. She is a United States citizen, but her mother emigrated from Mexico some years before Emily was born. Emily has three older sisters, each of which has a different father from her own. Her mother works at the subway at Elon's campus. There is little wealth, prestige, or power associated with Emily's family. The lack of these dimensions and the social standing of the Sanchez Garcia family exemplify how important family background is to determining social class. This difference between the Samtani and Sanchez Garcia families shows the divisions in social class in America. At the top is the upper class, followed by the middle class. Next, the working class and the lower class, and at the bottom there is the working poor and the underclass. The underclass are characterized as being persistently poor, segregated residentially, and relatively isolated from the rest of the population. It is a term often used to describe inner-city minorities. According to William Julius Wilson, being a member of the underclass is the result of joblessness. When factory jobs in cities declined, whites moved to the suburbs, leaving the poor blacks isolated in cramped inner-city locations with little opportunity. This has only hurt the inner-city population, as residence location determines access to jobs, schools, healthcare, and social services. There are a number of social problems associated with the underclass, including crime, welfare, family dissociation, drug abuse, poor health, and domestic violence. There is much discussion surrounding whether or not the individuals or the society is to blame for the underclass and for poverty in general. Those who believe the poor individuals are at fault see poverty as a culture, something that people become locked into due to their personal values and that gets passed down through generations. It is typical and usually necessary that parents socialize their children to fit into certain social classes. According to Benocrates, 69% of Americans believe that wealth should be more evenly distributed. However, an equal percentage believes it is possible to start out poor and become rich via hard work. There are many celebrity examples of such rags to riches stories. J.K. Rowling was living out of her car, caring for her infant and writing Harry Potter while her child took naps. She was homeless and now is the second wealthiest woman in the world. Another inspiring story is that of Liz Murray. Daughter of two poor, drug-addicted, HIV-infected parents, Liz was homeless at age 15. Her life turned around, though, through her attending high school and dedicating herself. She attended Harvard University, graduating in 2009. While these stories are touching, they give the public the false perception that vertical mobility within a society is frequent. In fact, it usually occurs in short moves, if at all. Those who believe society is to blame for poverty list a number of practical reasons as support. Because of the underclass, undesirable but necessary jobs in society are carried out. Goods that are rejected by others, such as day-old bread, are consumed, and the underclass absorbs the cost of societal change. Many people, largely the wealthier people, benefit from consequences of poverty. One specific consequence of poverty is homelessness. Homelessness can be due to a combination of various factors that include a lack of education, unemployment, domestic violence, and substance abuse. An extreme example of homelessness is offered in Mark Singer's documentary, Dark Days, which follows a community of people living beneath the New York subway system. There, they have a place to call home that is away from the police and teenagers that would bother them in the world above. There are certain demographic factors that affect social mobility. Race certainly limits this. African Americans, Native Americans, and Latinos are twice as likely to be poor than whites or Asians. These minority groups experience very little upward social mobility because less wealth is handed down from previous generations. Gender also affects social mobility. Women are more likely to be poor. 57% of poor people above the age of 18 are women. This is often referred to as the feminization of poverty. Education has a profound effect on social mobility. Better education allows people to increase in social status more easily. There is a direct connection to prison statistics. According to classroom discussions, 67% of people in prison do not have a high school diploma. The cycle of being uneducated, being involved with crime, imprisoned, released, and then falling into the cycle again exemplifies education as a mean of escaping the lower social classes. Poverty is greatly impacted by level of education. Separate education facilities are inherently unequal. The state funds a certain amount of the money used by schools, but the rest is collected from property tax money in the neighborhood. This means there is less funding for areas with lower property taxes, i.e., the inner cities. Students who are already struggling with few opportunities in life are once again not given the necessary support. Instead of selecting colleges, inner city high school students are looking at job applications. Democracy Prep Charter School in Harlem, New York is an exception, however. In an area filled with largely minority students and receiving less state funding than public schools in the area, this school has proven through its test scores and college attendees that minority students are just as capable as other children of success. Why have other schools not adopted practices used by Democracy Prep that are clearly effective? According to classroom discussion, equal education is not something we actually desire. In theory it works, but this change would upset the current social system in which a large majority of people are comfortable. This connects to the functionalist theory for social stratification. One of the most prominent perspectives is the Davis-Moore thesis. It claims stratification fulfills the variety of positions needed in society, ensures that the most qualified people obtain the most important positions, and offers rewards in order to motivate people to obtain those high positions. One strong criticism of this thesis, however, is that societies do not always reward the positions that are most necessary for survival. Conflict theory argues that social stratification is dysfunctional because it harms individuals and the society. Going along with Marx's idea of the bourgeoisie and the proletariat, stratification benefits the rich at the expense of the poor.